Today's video is entitled Shinto, James Cameron's Avatar, that's the movie Avatar, Princess Mononoke, which is based on the Shinto religion, and it's about the energy of creation, or the creative force, and also how all these things are connected to the Orbs wave process. So I suppose I need to wind the clock back, because some of the things I'm going to be suggesting, I'm a man of evidence. I require evidence, and so what I'm going to do is just show you one piece of evidence to back up what I'm saying. I have a number of letters dating back to probably 2005, 2004, where I'm sharing my findings. The findings were so spectacular that I really wanted to give them away. To be honest, I wanted them out there because, to be honest, it was they were eureka moments that I was going through. So I don't want to, everyone has to sit through me waffling, but I think these things are important that I lay them down that way. So I'm going to read you a letter. This is one of many similar, well, they were all the same actually, to the world's, at the time, the world's leading quantum physicists. I put an image up to Professor Whitten's letter that I sent him, but it's the same as the one I sent to Brian Greene of Columbia University. So the date is the 19th of April 2006. Now I'm doing this because I want to try and just show a possibility that James Cameron has seen my work and introduced it into the film Avatar. Now this is a possibility, and I'm not saying he did or he didn't. In fact, when I mentioned it to my wife and my son, they were roaring laughing. But of course, it's you have a look at the similarities, and you can see that there's a possibility of it, and also there's evidence towards it, in so much as the people and the types of people that I've written to. So this goes back to 2006, the 19th of April, and it just goes, "Dear Professor Green," but it could go Whitten, or it could go a number of the leading quantum physicists of the day. So the reference to the letter is dark matter, dark energy, massless particle of quantum physics, but really it should go the missing stuff that they can't seem to pin down. You could even put it in terms today, the God particles, or the missing energy of creation, the stuff that gives mass to the universe. So obviously my language has changed over the years, but it's become, it fills the space of the stuff they don't know. So the letter is, now I'll just read you the letter. "Please find enclosed a research data CD for your consideration." And it's Touchstone Health is the letter that it's sent from, which was a company that was set up for me to carry on research, which didn't last very long. So that's a little bit of background of Touchstone Health, although I'm not going to go into the detail of it all. Touchstone Health is a small scientific research group specializing in identification and pattern translation of natural electromagnetic activity occurring within the atmosphere of the Earth. We are entirely committed to an ethos of providing free data to assist knowledge sharing, and as such, I would emphasize that we harbour no interest in financial profiteering and a non-profit making research team. I mean, this is why I wasn't protective of the data. These statements as it was. It is our immediate objectivity to identify committed recipients. So, the mass of the data that we have accumulated over a period of several years provides validation and definite understanding of the science process determining of the planet's electromagnetic field, particle level energy transfer, core flow patterns, and planetary field anomalies. Our research has successfully identified and recently decoded the electromagnetic particle activity emanating from and interacting immediately above the Earth's surface. So that's when we wrote to NASA. That produces identical activity patterns and compositions to in space. So on the Earth and in space. We wish to provide free access to the data results to those genuinely searching to progress academic understanding. The CD is a PowerPoint presentation file with audio narration suitable for all Windows OS with speaker facilities. Please advise that the CD will take a few moments to load. The contents and findings discussed are a small fragment of the research data we have collected and integrated since early 2000. We're confident it will provide fundamental to an imminent scientific breakthrough and provide key pieces of information that have obstructed the global advancement of physicist theory into evidence-based fact. So it's observable. Sorry for dragging it on. I know you don't want to listen to the letter. But it gives you a framework of the kind of stuff that we were writing at that time. I find these, like many groundbreaking science movements, will undoubtedly be resisted, criticised, and I have been ridiculed and criticised and laughed at and entirely rejected by many. Whilst I have no doubt this will delay the high-level research, confirmation will inevitably surface, and maybe in my lifetime I will see it acceptable. We therefore offer our research for your consideration without charge or expectation, and ask simply for your comments and hopefully recognition that it contains sufficient data potential for meaning application to your own current or future research and development pipeline projects. We are aware that the technical spec of the equipment used within our research is extremely deficient. However, we would ask you to focus on the research content and the implication as opposed to the hardware quality. Our rigorous study has led us to understand of what we focus debate in a recent BBC Horizon program, in which the universe was broken down into two defined segments, 25% which is known and 75% which consists of the poorly named dark matter, dark energy, of which little is known about. Now that's changed. I mean, they're talking of the 3% mass and the other stuff that they don't really know a great deal about. They know a bit about neutrinos and photons, but basically they're working off the 3% rather than these figures change. Furthermore, our research is pertinent to the theories presented in a series of programs on string theory called The Elegant Universe, mass as particle predicted by mathematical equation. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the scientists conclude that these particles could only be present at the quantum level, as they didn't like the idea of large massless particles, and stated that there was no evidence of such particles. So, string theory is not quantum, and I've been saying it for years. We have very little doubt that dark energy and massless particles referred to the underlying and starting similarity to our research into all bar waves, mists, and clusters. In filming the motion paths, we have captured the geometry of space events such as pulsars, radial lobes, and we therefore conclude that there are less gases and more massless particles in the universe. Now they're talking less and less about plasma, the gases. They talk about plasma, but it's what you have is more electromagnetic fields in space. This puts pressure on the 25% we claim to know and understand. In short, we believe our work presents answers to some of the greatest scientific conundrums of all time. It explains how it is possible that light is a particle and wave provides uniquely unexplored aspects of science working on the 75% that it currently knows nothing about. I don't want to carry on with that letter. It's just taking time out of this. But I dare say it's signed Paul Muir, Head of Research at Touchstone Health. So basically, that is the kind of thing that was going out in April in 2006. So, Edward Whitten. This is one of the kinds of recipients. None of them replied to those letters. I did have a reply from NASA, and I can't find that letter. Otherwise, that would have been included in you. So Edward Whitten was sent a similar letter. Glashow, Sheldon Glashow, was also sent one. Now he was the brother-in-law of Carl Sagan. Sagan was linked to NASA. So there, you can say, well, why am I showing these letters? And information was out there. This is what I'm just saying. That my research data was out there. I put it out there. I wasn't protective of it, and it was in the hands of people who James Cameron interfaced with. So James Cameron, when he was writing his screenplay or started to write the screenplay for Avatar in 2006, could have, and it's a big could have, I'm not saying he did or he didn't, he could have had access to this data. So I want to start this talk, and the reason why I put it together, over the years, or at least since the release of Avatar, which was December 2009, so it's 2010 really, that it was seen by the majority. It was released in Britain, I think it was in the first week of December in 2009. So over the time I've posted up the data on various forums. This is from the Mayan 2012 forum. I put them on archaeological forums, the data, and I've also posted them on space forums, because some of the predictions that I made have come true in the observations on Mars. So this is a reply from Floop, I think it is, and she said, "Oh my God, OMG, they're the pure spirits from Avatar." So I posted up some images, and this isn't the first person who's recognised that there's a similarity of what I've been recording in the Orb bar wave and what was shown in James Cameron's Avatar. So I'll read you my response. We used to laugh about the baubles on the Christmas tree, because these baubles on the Christmas tree are orbs attaching to trees. It's come back down from historical, ideas of these lights on the tree or the orb on the tree. And I'll explain that in the Shinto, from the Shinto aspect later on. We laughed at Avatar. Someone must know something, or is unconsciously, or it's unconsciously known. Sometimes people just know these things through dreams or whatever. NASA definitely did. I wrote to them years ago. So again, in 2010, I'm saying the same old story that I've been saying in all my videos on YouTube. They replied by saying that they thought my attitude was great to my study, and all I was saying is that it would take my death for any of this work to be accepted. right? After the after the years of correspondence with scientists, so I'm only saying what I started the video. You would expect some type of you could expect some type of plagiarism. And then I go on very philosophically to say, what the heck? It doesn't really matter if anyone knocks off my ideas, knocks off the hard work and the investment that I put into this, because the purpose of it is to let people know the research, and it's always been that. It had been that in that letter in 2006, and it's that today. It makes no difference. So I go, what the heck? Our ancient Bronze Age forefathers knew this. I had to work incredibly hard to comprehend this. I have science that proves the theory generated from years of observation. This is a new understanding of the massless. It changes most of science. This week on UK TV Horizon programme, they started to talk in terms that they will eventually understand as non-quantum string theory, in fact fractal string theory. Eventually they will have to honour our ancient forefathers as having the correct view about the universe. And they did. And we are only playing catch up to them. So that was the posting. Someone posted to me that they're from Avatar, and so I've waffled on enough about I'm setting the scene. So this was the picture that I posted on the forum, which led to the individual saying, "Oh, they look like the pure spirits of Avatar." And so James Cameron potentially could have seen my work. Potentially now. Do I think that he did? Maybe, but in researching where he got his sources of information from, or a little bit of what he's quoted of himself, I'd say that's a possibility, but a small, slim possibility. So his Avatar movie was, as I stated, released on the 10th of December in the premiere of London. So I remember John had probably seen that in 2010 sometime. John worked with me on the research, and he said to me, you should see Avatar. He said they got orbs that attach to trees. They got this life force in everything. He said the scene of it is just incredible. So I don't go to the cinema, but I think John bought it on DVD when it came out. So that would probably be, once it's done its tour, probably later on. But prior to October 2010, obviously, because of that post that I've made. And of course I saw the similarities to our research, and to be honest, it was as though we had seen it. I'm looking at the film and think, he must have seen my work. Like, he must have, because it's just so similar. Now, anyone listening to this can make their own judgments. I mean, I've had other people telling me that they look like it, right? And of course, it was written in the book in 2006. So I want to go on now about the concepts of Avatar. So there's Polysophia. So Polysophia, or the Sophia Gaia type of idea, comes. Poly meaning many, and Sophia is the divine wisdom, or the universal force, or the God force. From I think it comes from the Nag Hammadi text, and this force was depicted as Awa or whatever, wood sprites. So that's that. This force that pervades everything. So Sophia is a gnostic religion. So he's obviously looked into these gnostic religions to even name it Sophia. concept regarding the wisdom of the biblical God. So it's sort of like an energy. It's depicted as an energy with mind or with wisdom. So Christ appears wise as a serpent. He's also touching on concepts that he probably understands the Hermetica very well. And so you have to have a look at some of the ideas and where they have come from, because obviously there's a Hermetic mention of the Polysophia, or the wood sprite. The wood sprite comes into fairies, tree spirits. So we can see that James Cameron is using some sort of mythology and also ancient religious text in his work. The director acknowledges it shares themes with films at the Playing Field of the Lord, The Emerald Forest, and Princess Mononoke. I've seen the Princess Mononoke film, and I recognised in that film straight away the Orbs. So Kodama. So Kodama comes from the Shinto religion, and it was a kids' cartoon film. Based on it's not fair to call it mythology. It's the story. It's their understanding of the universe in the form of the Shinto religion, and it would be sort of like a cartoon Jesus story, with morals behind it and things like that. And I think it's a wonderful film. Very strange, but a wonderful film. Get out there and see it if you can. So Kodama, and obviously this has been an influence to James Cameron. And so what we have is Kodama is a spirit from Japanese folklore, but it's from the Shinto religion, which is believed to live in certain trees, similar to the dryad of the Greek myth. Cutting down a tree which houses the Kodama is thought to bring misfortune, and there's a picture of the tree there. And so these divine trees, or that have these tree spirits in them, are depicted in the Princess Mononoke, are depicted as strange little creatures, and we have this similar life force from James Cameron's Avatar. So they have these ropes and they tie them round the tree to say that they are sacred, pure spaces. So this is where Cameron now has got this sacred tree, Awa, or has a rope tied round it. A bio, and in the film Avatar, they use other scientific discoveries, which is the biophoton. So each cell emits an ultra low-level biological luminescence, and they call it a biological photon. And so these ideas that Cameron have brought together. So more and more, when you look at this, you say that Cameron, all Cameron has truly done, he hasn't plagiarized any of my work. He's just looked at what the ancients were saying and interpreted it into a film. So the Shinto religion teaches that everything contains kami. So it's again, your prana, your chi, your life force, your spiritual essence. The spiritual essence, the essence of creation, the stuff that gives mass its mass. It's conscious. The word Shinto, the way to the gods. The way of the gods. The created. So we just haven't got it. We really are worshipping the wrong God. We have really, really got it so way out. It's unbelievable. We are connected to this force. Anyway, and so the reason why I thought these little creatures that are tree spirits from the Kodama, from the Shinto religion, look like orbs sitting on trees. And of course, this is so funny. So James Cameron has based his novel, has been influenced. It's got similar themes to Princess Mononoke, and those are the little creatures in that cartoon character. And so what I'm going to show you next is Avatar, and why I was sort of convinced at the time that Cameron had seen my work. Obviously, he was working with NASA. I sent stuff to NASA. I sent stuff to quantum physicists who were linked to NASA. And probably in that talk, the one photograph with the man with the shirt on, not Jake from Avatar now, was in that talk. Probably, I can't be certain because I'm sure that image is in the book. So the top corner is I had a ganglion on my wrist, and I had several images of orbs attaching to that ganglion. I've got photographs of I had a bad disc. It was mainly due to me carrying too much weight and playing rugby when I was younger. The combined things of it was an amateur sport, but I played at a high level at rugby, and my disc gives me a little bit of problems. And so I've had an orb attached on a number of occasions to a ganglion that I had on the wrist, and I've had orbs attached to my spine where it sometimes rubs due to my lack of fitness and damage from rugby. But the one that was probably in the book was the other photograph, the longer of the photographs, and that was a viral infection that Steve had. And what they did is they erupted on his arm and various other places on his body, but there was only one on his arm at the time, I think it was, or maybe one on his leg as well. And they blew holes like a volcanic boil, and the hole was about the size of a 2p piece. So it was huge. I've never seen anything quite like it, and an orb was attached directly on that position. So in the Avatar movie, where Jake has got a cut on his arm, we have these pure spirits landing and healing. As I've talked in many other videos of what the placebo effect is actually increasing, because the energy of the earth is increasing. So as the energy of the earth increases, this placebo effect starts to increase in intensity. But it's not a placebo effect, it's an action of orbs on illness or repairing. It works on matter. So the stories of people living to 120 in a higher magnetic field make a lot of sense to me, and they're stories from the Bible. Pretty simple, really. But you can understand an individual who would think, well, that is so much like the data that we were put in, that we've been collecting for years. Cameron started to write his screenplay in 2006. We were actively sending out the data at that time, and of course you think, God, he's barely copied me. Oh, but it doesn't matter. If he's probably more likely to copy the Shinto religion, and there's no copying in it, because the Shinto religion is, to me, a fact. It may have been lost and it may have been misunderstood, but the understandings of the ancients is slowly going to return to science. That's it. It's as simple as that. And so we have Jake holding his hand up, and these pure spirits, or the prana chi, or life force, or Polysophia, the wood sprites, come and land on his arms and hands. And there's a picture of me working with energy, working with the prana chi. You get the luminosity from the hand, which is probably part of the biological photon effect, emitting an energy field when you still yourself and connect to that energy. I got thousands of that, so it's not just one photograph, it's been out there. What we also have put in here, and people are going to, I don't want to go on about it, but it's 4,000 years old, maybe 3,500 years old. But it's hard to date, but it's all very old. It comes from the Scandinavian petroglyphs. It's painted probably in red ochre, and it's even got the orb, which attaches to the ankle, or that will convert to a bar and enter into the ankle. But I don't want to go on to how this energy in there reacts. All I can say is this: Cameron could have seen the rock art. I was doing searches to see if he was a member of the Bradshaw Foundation, because equally that, if he's seen this, and again in my book, there's letters to the Bradshaw Foundation. So if he's a member of the Bradshaw Foundation, and the people from the Scandinavian Rock Art Society have sent in this stuff, he could have got it from that way. But there's no evidence for that. But the Rock Art Society knew of my work. And so we have other images that have been taken over the time. In the first, or the larger of the images of me, you'll see a tiny little slit. It's not perfectly circular. You probably won't pick it out. And I was taken, 2002, whenever. 2003. Anyway, if you zoom into that picture, this was one of the very first ones that we got attaching to the hands. In the sequence, there's a tiny, red particles that look like they're attached to the hand in that photograph. And obviously, over time, then we started getting the spheres and the bioluminosity, and so, these orbs attaching with strands to the hand, and I've talked enough about it. So you can imagine that in seeing the avatar that I would have thought, thought in that way. So the way of the gods, the creative force, Shinto, folk. So there's a thing called folk Shinto, which includes numerous but fragmented folk belief in deities. So, but these deities aren't ours. These deities, we can't psychologically project our own misunderstanding of God back onto the ancients, and then we laugh at them, because our gods are, money, power. The God that everyone plays to, a man in a chair. Absolutely whacked out. They're not even anywhere near it. It's an illusion. We have religions that tell us about compassion and go and slaughter people, or abuse children, steal assets, steal the money from the poor. So, if you said to me, I believe in the energy work of Christ. I believe in the perfect master Buddhas. I believe in them. I don't worship them. I believe that this is inherent in everyone. Just we choose not to be it. And they stand as great examples of how we should live our lives through compassion. So many people value themselves and value the situation through the god of money. So, Cameron has obviously looked at James Cameron. I don't mean to be offensive to James. Has looked at if he's looked at these things, and he's mentioned the concept of Sophia. He probably would have understood Shinto as well. So one of the aspects of Shinto is a folk Shinto, which includes numerous but fragmented folk beliefs in deity spirits. It also believes in spiritual possession. So we have the spiritual possession of Jake, divination, and shamanic healing. So when humans enter into the body of the avatar, it's like a spiritual possession. So folk Shinto also has that spiritual possession, and so he's probably telling us a lot about the Shinto religion, to be honest. And so we have the shaman, or I wouldn't class myself as a shaman. I'm just a chap who can work with energy. Most of the children that I've shown can actually this biophoton effect. Actually, you can feel certain energy that pushes out of plants and trees once you still your mind. You cannot use your mind. You cannot use the senses. You have to override those senses and just feel it with your hands. And the ego is not a great thing to work with, so you can't do it that way. In fact, I've recently been asked to put a video of how to work with this energy, but people, because they have the wrong concept of God, can't understand how to connect with it. It's very, very simple. It's so simple, and everyone pushes it way beyond everything through the mind. So I may put that together. So the avatar and the link of the pure spirit. Do I think? I think Cameron has taken it more likely from ancient religions and the understanding of ancient religions, and because my work cracked the code of the ancient religions, the very ancient. No, I'm not talking about anything that's we're talking about pre-Bronze Age, the way of being in the pre-Bronze Age. Even the Nag Hammadi text is a point when it started to be lost. By that time, this energy and the understanding of this energy was basically handed down. They'd lost the Earth had lost magnetic charge, and therefore this stuff couldn't be seen as it was pictured in the rock art. And so what I put together on this final image is the pure spirits from Avatar. We have our jellyfish orbs, as we call them, and we have the orbs that attach to trees, as they do in Princess Mononoke. Anyone, if people don't want to see the similarities in that to the film, to the Shinto religion, to the ancient beliefs, and everyone wants to believe that they have the right God, that's fine for me. When this stuff is seen again, just remember it's just a natural force. It's not the UFO alien invasion. So thank you very much, everyone. Sorry I waffled on. I seem to have gone on and on and on. I hope to put some other video up shortly. There was a recent finding that that spiral galaxies were formed earlier than the scientists have predicted, and I want to put that video up because I'm going to make a prediction about that, based on the understanding of how this energy is formed and how the universal forces truly work. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye.